So what we're going to do today is hopefully something I'll keep up. I don't know if I'll be able to keep it up all split long, but the idea is to do a blind weekly power ranking. I haven't decided exactly what that means over the course of the split, but the idea is like if you turn the nameplates off, if you wiped your minds about organizational history, if you forgot everything you knew about the players, and this was you have an analyst brain, but it's your first time ever watching this region and these players, like what would you think? That's what I'm trying to do here. What's up, N Chudzik? So, obviously it's going to be very results oriented, but still trying to look between in those games, how do people look? Teams are TL, C9, EG, Fly, Dig. Let's put a team up here so people don't think these are the actual order right now. IMT, TL, CLG, 100 Thundo. I already said EG, Fly, Dig, TL, TSN. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Who am I missing? Golden Guardians. There we go. Subtle IMT burn. Put Immortals at the top to make it unbelievable. It's a power ranking based on analysis instead of narrative. Well, yes, but I do feel like historical context does matter a little bit. No offense to CLG, but no one's about to go in there next week and be like, are they the best team in the LCS? Maybe we should. I don't know. Would that be better for fans? Secret Nerd Dad gifting 1 sub to Can Them Be Hacked? I don't know. Anyways, thank you for initiating someone into the hot tub, gifting out the 1 sub. Thank you. So these are the 10 teams, and I did this with Skara before. And what we did was we would take each week into account. So week 1's only week 1. Week 2 would be week 1 and week 2. And week 3 would be that. Maybe I'll just try and do it for each week, wipe my mind of the split thus far. I haven't really decided what I'm going to do later on. But for week 1, it's basically only taking week 1 into account. Now they're a real one. Fair enough. I've never smack talked my subs before. All right. To be fair, CLG did not buy my approval. Nuclei. Thank you for the tier 1 sub, man. 7 months in the hot tub. I appreciate you. Thank you. All right, so I would have said CLG no matter what. Even before Spica said he wanted me fired. Even before CLG gave me some free shit and wrote me a nice card. I was going to predict CLG to win that game after day 1. I swear to God. Because I sent my predictions in before any of that stuff happened. I got off my CLG 10th place pretty quickly. I was like, wait, I was just wrong. I was horribly wrong about CLG. All right. So the first team is not really going to surprise anyone. It's TL. Is anyone shocked? So what are the rules? My own opinion of how good I think they are. A team could be 2-1 and another team could be 1-2. And if I think the 1-2 team is better than the 2-1 team, I'm going to put them above them. Because it's not 100% performance based. It's not like, oh, well, you lost, so therefore you're worse. But it's trying not to take into account anything other than what happened this week. So, for example, let's say C9 goes 0-3. But they played Cloud9 and TL, or TL and EG, which are teams that I put in number 1 and number 2. Well, then they played the 2 best teams in the league according to my own power rankings. So am I really going to say they're that bad? I don't know. It kind of depends. Mirage, thank you for the... Wait, that's not my email? Hold on. I'm trying to log into something. Mirage, thank you for the Prime. I appreciate it, man. Prime subs are the best. I love Prime subs. You know why I love Prime subs? Thank you for, first off, 6 months in the hot tub. It is indeed the weekly stream. You know what I love about Prime subs, Mirage? They're exclusive. You only get 1 a month. Which means that you're saying, I'm your favorite streamer of the month. And that's cool. That means a lot to me. I appreciate that. What I don't appreciate is tier 1 subs. Regular subs, how many of those do you have, really? It's $5. Just cheeseburger you chose not to eat and gave it to someone else instead. Who cares? Prime subs... So Jeff, thank you for the 7 months. Okay, who's the best player in LCS and why was it me? Who was? You're saying this in like some weird past tense sense that like you were in the LCS. That's never fucking happened. It's never gonna happen. 7 months with the tier 1s, Jeff. You know why tier 1s are the best subs? Let me tell you why. The problem with primers is that they're not actually fucking paying anything. Like, they got Prime for the delivery, to watch the boys. Okay? To do anything else other than... And then they watch a stream and they go, oh shit, I got a free sub. And they just are like, they just punt it to you. They don't really care. Okay? But tier 1s, they're looking at that and they're electing, I have these $5 and they're best spent going to me. And that means a lot. Voting with your hard-earned money and not using some little handout. That's all a Prime sub is a handout. Yeah, I'm watching the boys. I like it a lot. All right, enough spieling. Enough spieling. There, I did the spiel. I was about to start a prediction and say, will Jeff make the LCS? And then I realized it would be 100% doubt. And then no one would get any points. And it would just be bullying, basically. $5 is half a gallon of gas. Fucking ouch, dude. You're not wrong. All right. I'm actually climbing really fast right. From what, bronze? All right, so Team Liquid. Here, let's do a little bit of analysis. Like, Team Liquid's the clear #1 team from last weekend for me. Obviously, you can talk about the perfect game. You can talk about the 3-0. C9 and EG and, CLG also went 3-0. But I think the dominance with which Team Liquid did it is why I would put them first. Obviously, there's just the eye test of like, oh my god, the double bubbles, the double bindings, Bjerg's popping off. There's a lot of that stuff to use as well that I would argue about. Bwipo looked really good on the Olaf. Like, all 5 players looked really good for TL. Bjerg bias, what the hell? Newest win rate's 100%. Smurf Q, baby. I think it's early game report, but it might be objectives report. We'll see. Looking at Riot proprietary data. Nope, not this one. This one? I think turret differential is actually a great way to look at, like, dominance. Turret differential is not only how many turrets you take, but how many you gave up. It's similar to gold difference, but I don't think gold difference always does as good of a job about, like, accounting for certain things in game states, especially with like objective bounties coming in and like some of that stuff, like the rubber banding mechanics. You can get a lot of gold from a single turret in the late game when you're behind, and it'll make the lead change, but it's still only one turret. Stuff like that. There's like minor reasons. Both are fine. I don't make it sound like one's bad. Like, you can go by gold difference, and it'll probably be, oh, look at that. See, TSM, number 2. Look at them. Look at them. Early game beast. That's Spica. That's a 1,200 gold Spica difference right there. Yeah, he played Mord, Olaf, and Swain. He looked good. Anyways, the point is with this, TL had this. They only give up 3 turrets all fucking weekend. They took 27, you know? It's just like, Jesus. It's disgusting. How does this math work? This is just, what? 27.3 minus, oh, I can't do math. That's why. 27 minus 3 divided by 3. 8. Yeah. 21 minus, yeah. No, that's right. I can't do math. 2 turrets for dig. Yeah. Yeah, we're not doing 10th place first, but spoilers. I have not really looked at the silver changes. You don't mean the, are they on 12-11? Because weren't there some silver changes? Or was that durability patch changes that I saw with her? Okay. No. I haven't seen it. I'll take a look later. I'll get distracted. I only have like an hour to do this. We have Resident Refresh at 1. Yeah, this is a power ranking using only week 1 and throwing out all team and player history prior to this. So Team Liquid, as we said, number 1. The interesting thing is it's obviously going to be one of the other 3-0 teams because they did look really good. I don't think there's a case for a 2-1 team to be over a 3-0 team. But EG/CLG. Thank you, Mirage. I appreciate it. This is a tough one. I'm tempted to go CLG number 2. Now, using conventional wisdom, and even just based off probably what my own power rankings would be, you go Dig, TSM, and Golden Guardians. That could be 10, 9, 8. We don't know. We don't know what this could be. But they had really interesting drafts that looked really good. And they actually played really well. Not like everything was perfect. Not like there weren't mistakes that they made in their games or like moments where they threw or anything like that. Or like, you know. But the case I would make, well, Team Liquid's undebatably top 1. You can't tell me CLG is better. Team Liquid, perfect game, some idiots. And then they just crush the next 2 games. No. And I still watch the games. Like, the players were doing more impressive things to me as well, individually. I think there were more individual outplays in the Team Liquid games and the CLG games, which were a lot of, like, about bullshit ball comps that just heal up. Which, don't get me wrong, it's still good. But, yeah, Team Liquid's number 1. EG versus CLG. I think the thing that's going to tip it in CLG's favor for me is that EG fell behind pretty significantly versus C9. EG dove top turret, got themselves killed, lost to Baron. And then they had some more like individual mistakes, I think, where, I mean, both teams had individual mistakes, but I think there were more egregious ones by EG. There was Jojo killing himself. Was it against Takoi or was it against a Blaze Olive? Or, Abadaga. I think it was the Abadaga game. These games were much closer. Again, I think EG played what we would conventionally consider tougher teams. Did CLG fall behind versus Golden Guardians? Hold on. How badly do I not remember that game? Or do I have Lulaven thoughts on here? I do. How bad did they fall behind that game? I remember that they didn't have leads all the time, but I thought that it wasn't that bad. Oh, the Sivir feeding. Yeah. Let's rewatch the highlights real quick and see if I can continue selling this.
Anytime I'm playing lane that has a push, you feel way better. It's so much easier to actually avoid the mystic shots when you're behind the minions, which happens when you get pushed constantly. So it's do that. It plays all the way down.
Forcing a blaze to flat fiends. They've got everything they need. Contract has a red buff, and it's signed in blood. 400 gold owed to the CLG jungler.
Mind game there. Luger, of course, staying around lane, but Poom does finish the reset. Did get a tier, as expected. You mentioned that. It is going to be coming back. I always like tier on these champions.
Oh, I remember this dude just walking up like that. Oh, that was so bad. Hey! He still has no flash.
Nice aggressive move there, though, and now Luger's going to be. Oh! Frightstalker over the wall, gets a kill. I think it's Poom. I mean, Poom does have his heal, but there's very little chance he's getting out of this one. You just don't use your E until he flashes. And I don't think he has any chance.
Yeah, True Shot Barrage. Say claims the kill credit and Golden Guardians say not today, CLG. You're stepping out of lane to see is this going to be going on. Has a control ward. Now spot Prowl. Control ward did that. And he's like, and now I don't find it. Okay, 3v1. Let's run away. Can you riposte well? Get stunned. Get through the wall. Riposte not going to matter enough. And burns down. CLG active again on the map. Get the kill to Licorice.
Yeah, that's a really big one. He's going to lose waves here and lose an entire tower. Yeah, nice sweep in, though.
If you don't pull aggro, the triple die. First going to fight anyway. Don't get a flash right back out. Will stay alive. Triple will quite die, actually. A few hits left. They got 3 minutes. Knock that one down with a plate.
So a lot of gold. The parry on the ulti, but would have had to be able to parry the W. I think have any chance of getting out. If you parry the stun from contract.
I don't know. Obviously, bot lane kind of inted it a little bit.
Decent damage here. Not going to find the ult player or anything. Cross contract has flash and ulting away. Tower dies. Doklo was there for it. Thank you for the 400 gold. CLG got a 1200 in the lead. Bot will be traded back finally.
Yeah, Stick's very rich, so that is kind of the big hope right now for Golden
It's,
Guardians.
you know, gold's like even right now. How bad does this get? I don't remember it. Oh, I remember this fight being such a clusterfuck. This one was such a funny fight to watch.
Needs to flash in, finds one blast code, and you get power box well. Nice snipe by Stick. Once again, the boost for the ulti. It looks silly, but it's the right play. And Frightstalker, he's almost guaranteed this kill. He's just got a range, but he should kill. There it is. Red smite auto. Thank you very much. Golden Guardians get 3 unanswered kills.
Man, that was actually really
The guy in the bottom left-hand corner is just like a looping thing that they put to count it as reactive comment or content. Usually I mute them if I'm actually VOD reviewing, but this is just a highlight reel. It's not so bad. I got distracted reading chat. What happened here? How did he die? Alright, Luger thinks he's safe. W blind over the wall. Yeah. Sivir into Wukong is a little troll, isn't it? Because the ult just knocks you up no matter what you do. Who's the person in the bottom right?
They are just not afraid at all of what's playing. Luger here, spell shield be damned, Sona be damned. They know they have the damage, get these kills, Blaze all in trouble.
And that's going to be huge right there. Blaze Olive just drops Stoke with the kill credit, his first of the game. CLG.
I mean, there's ulting towards top, they're just going to go for the tier 2. Okay. They don't feel that they can make their win. I mean, they had no vision in the area, so maybe that's the call. Like, where's the closest ward? They literally have nothing on this entire side of the map. That works from the others. Like, go top, they do take down the tier 2. But you're giving away that dragon for free. You're going to lose the
Is it another Sivir death? No, just grabbing turret.
CLG find their third turret. Away that dragon for free. You're going to lose the tier 1 mid. So Golden Guardians got that summer spell down. Palafox jumped a bit. Mid lane outer drops, so CLG find their third turret. What the hell are you going to try to give you the ability to see it? But either way, CLG coming out as in defense. Talia is kind of moving down towards mid, but now decides to go back up towards top. Diego threatening a little bit of a flank, but Frightstalker take his fight.
This is a lot of contracts alone in the river. We know he has no ult. We know he's got no hope. And that is Golden Guardians shuddering the faith of CLG.
Yeah, that is a big deal.
Contracts alone in the river. We know he has no ult. We know he's got no hope.
For Golden Guardians, they grab the dragon.
I want to hear it. The idea was.
Wasn't the game versus TSM a bigger deficit?
Anyone else want to castle this guy?
I thought it was a long list. Okay. Yeah.
All right, well, now they might actually lose Baron. They just kind of like, oh, cool, we can't do Baron. I guess I'll base. And so they're just going to take it.
Wow, okay. That is a good by Golden Guardians. Goes back to this down. All right, I want to see that one.
I don't remember that. I need to go rewatch the TSM game, but I'm pretty sure.
Gets down to half HP and gets knocked around. He's been for more. Gets a bit close, finds the heal. I want to hear it. The idea was very sound. The idea was like 85 decibels. It was very sound.
I can't believe this. Golden Guardians just give up Baron.
I thought it was a long list. Yeah.
All right, well, now they might actually lose Baron. They just kind of like, oh, cool, we can't do Baron. I guess I'll base. And so they're just going to take it.
Wow, okay. That is a good by Golden Guardians. Goes back to this down. All right, I want to see that one.
That was terrible. Yeah, I think the TSM game was the worst one because this was like 1.5K at worst, 2K maybe, which is like, you know, it's noticeable, but I mean, getting that Baron is yikers. Yeah. Well, as you saw, their turret differential stat was incredible.
And CLG goes for more. Luger flashes in for a slow. Stunned up by Fiora. Big shovel back by Zero. It's not going to matter. It's 3 unanswered kills. It's CLG. Looking for the first 3-0 start they've had in 5 years. And they're on the way now.
I think they've got it. 40 seconds here. Look at
Leave it.
punishing Golden Guardians.
All right, that wasn't that bad. Maybe it was the TSM game, because I remember the TSM game being a little dicey. Or I think Speaker was popping off. Speaker's been popping off all weekend, but
I don't think that's the pick here, though. GP might make sense, seeing that a decent amount of time into Gwen, but
this is a long highlight package. All right, I remember Huni gets kind of dicked on.
The items are just so big for him, having a serrated dirt and
I thought this comp was gonna suck, to be honest. When I saw this CLG comp, I thought it was gonna be complete booty hole. It's like kind of a death ball comp with poke, but usually ball comps prefer to go it. Like the way I think about it is like ball comps are really forgiving because your team fighting is usually almost always good. And if the enemy team ever flubs and engage, you can heal off the top really easily. And poke comps, and so like a ball comp is like, even if you fall really far behind, you can still get back into the game. Whereas a poke comp, the problem is usually the complete opposite, where it's like, yeah, any mistake that you make, you might just fucking lose the game. And so normally when I see poke comps, I'm like, ugh, especially one like this where you don't really have any front line, you don't really like have that much hard CC. It's basically Seraphine and TF, you know, like it just feels like it's going to be really hard to pull off. But the healing was absolutely bullshit. And yeah, TSM did not have great tools to engage, just basically Galio and no one else to go in with. So I think TSM's draft didn't really have the tools to punish it that most standard drafts would have. Most drafts will have better engage from the support jungler top position in the current meta. And this didn't really have any. 2 skirmishers and then a defensive tanky support. I mean, you can W in as TK, but it's really hard to land that. So.
Although maybe his job is just going to be, hey, maybe I'll land some spears once we start grouping since TSM's engaging that big. Oh, the call! Did not line up properly for Tactical, and that is going to be a 2v1 kill. Boom, emotes that insult to injury, and Luca grabs the kill. I gotta watch that again. Tactical cleanse late, early, I think. Certainly is a tricky one. And they're moving in for the retro right now, but again, Mia is here, so his movement on top is actually pretty important.
No, I'm too lazy. We're not going to be watching that many games.
Right now, I think CLG is happy about a lot of things. Yeah. They would be ecstatic if Dokla didn't give over the shutdown to Huni, because we'll have to see if Gwen is able to be a menace with the W and team fights. Since there's 5 range people, it's going to be basically impossible.
Man, this game is also scrappy, but Luger had really good ults this game, by the way. I mean, he's playing Senna, so, you know, kind of whatever. But I remember there being a lot of fights where, like, people would have died without the Senna ult. I mean, timing, it's still a skill. Communicating with your team, knowing when you actually need the Senna ult and stuff.
Speaker with a lot of big plays early on here. The question will be, will it be enough more damage? They have such an abundance of healing between Senna, Nidalee, and Seraphine.
Speaker on this Herald is going to draw the team up. Maple going to check the rush, going to get it down. The contract's going in. Not sure the angle is here. This is a 4v2. Luca going to have to fight away. Speaker's looking.
Oh, this was the fight. This was the yeah. This was the fight. This time I was like, oh shit, maybe this comp is just like horse shit. This is so funny. It just bonk Dokla. Yeah, I mean, they mostly won this game. I mean, like, they gave up a lot of deaths, but, like, TSM never really had a foothold in this game at all. Yeah, I don't think CLG is going to be super legit over the course of the season. But for the course of these power rankings, which don't give a fuck about the rest of the season or projecting forward or anything, I'm going CLG too, baby. I'm telling you. EG, they should have dropped that first game. I can't look at a CLG game and go, they should have lost that one from that position. When EG was down, I mean, technically their comps in some of the scaling situations, like, it wasn't that bad with how it interacted. But that C9 game, when they were down like 6k after inting at top turret, you know? I'm going CLG number 2. EG number 3. EG still looked really good. I don't want to make it sound like I don't think EG was good. And I think you can say that it showed resilience to come back in that game. But I think there's just some more creative drafting going on by these 2 teams above them as well that I appreciate. I don't remember EG's drafts being super crazy. I'll have to double check. Where are you, EG? Interesting. Oh, wait, how did I get down to week 2? God, I hate the pop-ups. I mean, I respect the hustle, Leapedia crew, but goddamn. Yeah, this is just a poke comp. Sedge tops, whatever. That doesn't turn me on. Yep, pretty Resident Sleeper. I think this one was Resident Sleeper too. It had, oh no, wait, this one was fun. I'll give you this one. Yeah, C9 struggles. I have a blame game coming out about that. That's what the blame game's about this week is C9. All right. The other thing to look at is just, I think EG, look at that. They're below them in this ranking. This is my power rankings right here. No. Yeah, I think CLG's early game was generally good. I don't know. I like CLG's drafts. I like their play. Their comment Twitch unplayable in fights. Dude, that last team fight where Twitch just like comes out of stealth, gets a GP ult dropped on his head, hit by AoE from Lysandra. I don't necessarily think Johnson played it that well, but it was also fucked because the Yuumi had to hop over to the Vladimir to save him, so then the Twitch doesn't have the Yuumi defensive stuff on him. Anyways, I feel pretty good about these top 3. Here comes the harder part. Figuring out like the 2 1s and the 1 2s, you know? 100 Thieves, are they just a free slot in? They lost to EG, who I'm saying is the team right above them. Their other wins felt decent. But actually, wait, no, they fell behind pretty far to TSM. And then they beat Dig, who's going to be unanimous worst team in the league. The TSM one was very much a, like, we're playing a worse team, but we made a lot of mistakes. They are winning against teams they should beat, to be fair. That's a good point. This game, I think they fell like 5K down. Hundo Thundo. Eee, comebacks. That's the name of the game. Ugh. I don't know. Here's the thing. I would be open to putting one of the 1 and 2 teams. Oops. If one of the 1 and 2 teams looked super legit, I think I'd be more willing to entertain a 1-2 over them. Because their wins were not super convincing. They were kind of competitive with EG like a little bit. You know, that game was close too, to be fair. FlyQuest, here's the thing. I guess you could debate FlyQuest. FlyQuest, in one of their losses, just straight into it to Immortals. Like, they were very close to 2-1ing this weekend, and then they lost to EG. And in that EG loss, I still thought they looked okay. I think they made some big mistakes to kind of fuck the game states for themselves. But, like, Twitch found some picks. They kept it kind of close. 100 bullshit when it comes to teams they should beat. Yeah. The FlyQuest int was really sad against Immortals. That was just like, oh god, terrible play. But like they were like 8K gold up before they entered that right over the Baron wall. I was feeling, I put FlyQuest 5th, I think, for my power rankings. And after this weekend, I still felt pretty good. My actual power rankings for the split have Fly 5th, and I don't necessarily feel wrong about that still. Either way, they're clearly the best of the 1 and 2 teams. I just don't know. I think, actually, you know what? We're saying totally blind, right? If I was totally blind and you mind wiped me, I would think this team should be 2-1 and the other team should be 1-2. If I was mind wiped, I'd be like, you should have lost that first game versus TSM, and FlyQuest should have beat Immortals. I think if you mind wiped me, I think I actually would ignore the power rankings. It would be very close. I don't want to make it sound like, oh, FlyQuest is way better than 100 Thieves. But like, if this was my first time ever watching this league, I'd be like, no, FlyQuest was better. The first FlyQuest win over Golden Guardians was pretty dominating. This was dominating until they inted it. And then this one was like kind of close to a very good team. I actually think I've talked myself into it. Oh my god, 100 Thieves is 6 now? I forgot CLG was up here too. Wow. This is very close. These two are very close. This is a surefire 1 for me. Wait, no, they're 5th. I can't do math. I can't do math. Fucking the bars. Oh no. Oh no. Isn't there a way to lock this so it's God, I forget how to use Excel well. I thought that made that like it would push it down. Whatever. Exclude the week 1 cell? Yeah, I don't know. Too much work. Anyways. I feel like 100 Thieves, they looked okay. But I would be scared about their early game if I was like looking at this realistically. I mean, I froze it. Right? Didn't I? I don't want to freeze it. Yeah. It's still not that bad. 5th. And I think they'll get better too. This is just blind week 1 reactions. I think their early game was a little sus. I think falling down 5,000 gold is scary. All right, on to the 1 and 2 teams. We're looking at Golden Guardians, Immortals, and TSM. If TL wins a split, you'll get a shoe? Dude, that's scary. Puts T9 at 6. Why would I? They look terrible, dude. It looked awful. That is a hot take. No, thank you. You're going to burn me with that hot take. They did not look much better than most 1 and 2 teams. Golden Guardians, TSM, IMT? I don't think so. I think if I was watching this, one thing that would change my mind is that of the teams left, of these bottom 5 teams, Spica looks like the best player on any of these teams. If I was like mind wiped, had never watched these players before, I'd be like, God damn, this Spica guy looks good. They just need to clean up their late game, and they would be good. So I would actually say totally blind. I'm looking at TSM as having a good early game off the back of a beast jungler whose name I don't know. And then like they just need to shore up their mid to late game. Their bot lane AD carry had some sussy plays. Tactical was definitely scary. You could make the Spica argument last season? I don't think so. I think Spica was underperforming last split. I mean, part of it's also having the 16th best mid in North America as his mid laner. I think Spica is playing much better this split. I can't say how much of it is due to he put in more work and he was just bad last split, organizational issues getting to him, or just having a terrible mid laner. But I think you could legitimately make the case that Kaido Takeover would have been like the 14th best mid in North America, 15th, 16th, like around that range. Like Ryoma, Saligo, like a lot of mids in Academy would have been better. By the end of the split, Jimmy N, you know, like, no joke, you could have put a lot of mids into TSM and they would have done just as well, if not better. I think Takeover was pretty bad. Yeah. I mean, he was put in a shit situation, to be fair, Max Strickson. I'm not trying to say, like, the kid's career sucks. But I just mean, like, Takeover got thrown into a team that was on fire and did nothing to help. So not trying to throw any shade at him, but I'm just saying that, like, I don't think he looked very good. Yeah, Maple looks good so far. I would say, like, blind, I think TSM's mid jungle looks decent. Top and bot are like a little sussy, but like everyone's got stuff to say about that, about these teams at this tier, you know? And I think Spica looks like the best player out of these 5 teams. So I put TSM at 6. Is there really not a way to exclude this? Just because it's going to confuse people looking at it quickly. How do I exclude? Format. Exclude. Exclude. Fuck. MII doesn't look good, but he looks better than Shenyi. Yeah. No, what I'm saying is this is a blind power ranking in the sense that I had never seen or heard of these players before. And this is my only data from week 1. So absolutely no knowledge of anyone. How do you fucking... I don't know. I don't want to hide it. Whatever. We're moving on. I think TSM looked like they had a good early game, yada, yada, yada. It's a close battle now between C9, Immortals, and Golden Guardians. But I have a really hard time putting Golden Guardians below C9 when we're directly comparing the two teams. Add a rank column in front, that won't help. Unless you're saying put rank and then write 1, 2, 3, 4 out. I guess I could do that, but that feels really fucking lame. All right. Immortals getting perfect game felt really bad. Yeah. I think this is Golden Guardians. Here's why. So, Golden Guardians beat C9, one of the teams they're directly in comparison in with these other teams around them. Their first game versus FlyQuest looked fucking terrible. But I really did not like their draft, if I remember correctly. And I think it was one of those, like, you fall behind, you just have fucking nothing to do. Yeah. Yeah, it's like there's just, like, all these picks are kind of okay in isolation, but together they don't really do anything, is the problem. Like, it's very hard to find something that this team's going to do other than fight you if you engage into them. Like, you can kind of kite with these things and stuff. But, like, I don't know. It just feels very tough. Vulcan's really funny. What the hell? You expected him to be bad on Hotline League? He's great. Victor's very high presence in the current meta. Oh, why? There's a lot of people who are defaulting to scaling in the current meta. Just because of the durability patch and all that stuff. Games are a lot slower. It's hard to get kills. And so things like Azir, Victor are coming back in. And those two are the best of, like, the control mage pairings right now. Because it's always, like, whenever control mages come in, the best of Victor, Corki, Azir, Ori, Syndra, Cassio, Ryze are all going to, you know, kind of show up. Ryze less so since they changed to be tank build. But that kind of control mage class always pops up at the same time. Lissandra as well. LeBlanc. Like, a lot of these things all fit in. And so Victor's just one of the better hard scaling options. I honestly don't like Sedge Top, so I'm not a good defender of her. Anyways, back onto this. This draft, if you fall behind, just feels like ass. And they fell behind, and they looked like shit on it. And it's the first game of the split. Like, I wouldn't invest too much in this loss, and I would look at their next two games as being more indicative of their strength if I was doing this blind. Funnily enough, I find this less damning blind than I would, like, as knowing Golden Guardians as one of the teams that struggles more in the LCS. If I didn't know that this was like an org that was usually a bottom half LCS org, this I'm like, oh, but you know, maybe it's just a rough first game. I don't know. But then they beat C9 pretty convincingly. I think their win over C9, while it wasn't perfectly played, there's a lot of mistakes you can point to individually. They have firm control of it. They out macroed C9. They got both Rift Heralds through better setups. Like the gank by Blabber in the bot lane allowed Pride Stalker to run across the map and grab that Rift Herald. And then Jensen on a late reset, they were able to burn it down and just take it because they weren't ready. And against CLG, they were doing well. It was kind of close until they just fucking inted that Baron setup. That was a terrible setup. So I would probably look at this team as like a lower tier team that is inconsistent. And like I would be worried about their mid to late game, but like I've seen some good stuff out of them. So Golden Guardians goes here. Okay. Oh, and they also played hard teams. Like I know CLG is not actually the third or second best team in the league, but in my head, I would be considering that they played the second best team in the league and went decently well against them. You know? Jensen washed? He's not washed. Rusty? Yeah. And he was never good at picks like Yone. Or I shouldn't say never good, but they were never his strong suit. Where am I? All right. Hundred Thieves actually have a good turret differential even though their early game sucks. Interesting. Alrighty. I'm pretty sure I put C9 here. C9 went 0-3, and they played good teams. EG, TL, 100 Thieves? Who did they play? Golden Guardians. Good teams. Two really good teams. Two actually really good teams. And I can use my bias to say that. But if this was blind, I would still have them playing the 1 and 3rd team in the league. Then they did lose to Golden Guardians. But they were competitive versus EG. Am I overrating them, actually? They were competitive versus EG, but then they also threw... Like, if I was watching this team blind, wouldn't I be like, wow, you guys threw that shit? And this is a hard one. C9, they played tight versus EG. And Fudge looks really good. Fudge looked good in all the games. I'll give Fudge a big pass. He legitimately looked really good. Jensen looked good in game 1, but then pretty sus in the next 2 games. Dig is definitely 10th. We can just put Dig in here now. I won't beat around the bush. Dig looked fucking terrible. I don't really think I need to justify much beyond that. Fudge struggled a bit on Ornn. Yeah, I mean, his Ornn didn't look good, but it looked more like the team just didn't... Like, they just gave Kale the freest pass of all time. And then, like, he had that, like, one bad team fight that stuck out to me at the second Rift Herald. But I think his Fiora game and his GP game would make me be like, one bad Ornn game, whatever. You're not a tank player, maybe? I don't know. I think C9 has legitimately struggled in other areas of the game. The thing that blew my mind was in that 3rd game, you have 2 dragons, you're even in gold, you're going to scale much harder. The enemy team forces your 80 carries flash. They have a herald down mid. You're not set up for to contest the dragon. Your Corki is not on mana mune, or he's not on Muramana. He's still stacking his mana mune. He doesn't have Ludens. Your Twitch is only on 1 item. There's like 5 million reasons to sack that dragon, and they fucking double TP onto it just because it's a package timing. But they have no way to actually set up a fight. Because you don't actually win the poke with Corki versus Ezreal at that point. Like, the Ezreal's going to poke way harder. So even though you have Yuumi to sustain in a poke battle, it's just doomed. And they fucking double TP in, and they pick that fight. And they don't just pick that fight. They brute force it through a river. after they just lost Flash, on no item power spikes, double TP in, after losing mid lane turret. It was such a disaster play. Blew my mind they went for that. And then they just got picked apart after that. They were relatively competitive before that. I would have given them a pass, but then I see a play like that, and I'm just like, woof. Combined with the fact that they threw versus EG pretty hard, with some pretty bad team fighting out of King and stuff. They also had the Golden Guardians game where they just kind of slowly lost that one constantly over time. Hey, CLG ran a poke comp, dude. Put some respect. Put some respect on them. This is too sad. Too sad and slow. All right, so that's the case for C9 being 8th, 9th. C9 really doesn't have much to hang their hat on other than, like, we played a good game. They played a good game versus EG until, like, the super late game team fights. So it was kind of an EG throw in the top inhibitor turret. Or top outer turret. That gave them their first Baron. But what can you do? I also think they got outdrafted by EG. I like EG's comp a lot more. The case for Immortals. Baby. Well, first off, you got fucking perfect game. And then your second game, you were getting stomped on by FlyQuest until they fucked up. That was like the one thing that kind of went well for them. Their drafts have also been really whack. Like, I would be willing to forgive this one as just like a, wow, what a stupid draft that was here. Because it's just like no CC setup for Talia jungle. And then the next game versus Immortals, or I guess FlyQuest. It's like fine. It's just like a early game kind of pick comp engage thingy. We were okay. And then the TSM loss against a team that isn't that great. Ugh. I'm gonna watch the highlights for this one. I wanna jog my memory.
Isn't he just gonna go like, all right, I'm gonna play something that loses like a Sejuani or Norn or whatever and try to play defensively? That's not really Huni style. If he does go for the Vladimir.
Sorry, I'm muting him this time because I'm on 2x speed. All right. Counter gank. Glorious. Love to see it. All right. Making some plays. Bottom left court person is just a random guy who puts his face on for this to count as transformative content. Oh, wow. That was almost a really good play. I mean, it wasn't bad, but they almost absolutely cleaned up there. What just happened? The other thing I hate about highlights is it's hard to find CSDs. Huni. Maybe I should have put TSM lower. I remember that they beat them, but I didn't remember some of these plays looking so funny. This game just feels like one of those, like, you win lanes and you win late-ish drafts. The most important thing Huni did there was just waste all of Revenge's time. Maple had a good, decent package there to set that up. Not bad. He's a real person. I mean, it's a looping person. It's a real human being. I don't know what you mean by not a real person. He's not watching the game. This is definitely a game of League of Legends. Ugh, it's really close. I can't tell if I'd put C9 or Immortals over them. It's hard. Like, even though I'm trying to do these blind, you know, it's like, it's hard to completely separate yourself from it. This is such a messy game. But they haven't really done anything well. They, like, killed what I would consider blind that Huni's one of the worst tops in the league. And I would say that, like, great, you got some kills against one of the worst tops in the league if I was, like, watching this totally blind, you know? Dig's obviously the worst. Immortals early game is pretty booty hole. C9's not as bad. C9 lost more turrets, but like the thing about that is that like a win is basically the differential here. Like these are 2 inhibitor turrets that they didn't lose, or 2 Nexus turrets, excuse me, that they didn't lose. And these are 2 Nexus turrets that they got. So it's about a 4 turret differential that you're going to get as a swing when you do that. They would have actually had one more turret if like, or you know, it's hard to know what that loss would have looked like to FlyQuest without that huge throw. Immortals has a great Herald percent though. I mean, I will say C9's Herald control was pretty shit. They're just really bad. C9 right now are terrible about getting set up for objectives. Their Heralds, they're like late for, or they're not thinking about them. Dragons, they were late for when they weren't like kind of free. No, Herald percent's of the 2. So you'll get 2 Heralds every game. Kills and assists at 15. IMT's the worst. That's like what kills me about the early game is it's just so like you just sit back there and get your cheeks clapped up. God. Can you imagine that? I mean, there are a lot of slow games, don't get me wrong, but still. Goals. Goals. C9's like more proactive. They have a better early game by a considerable amount. They played harder teams, you know? Yeah, TL's nuts. CLG's nuts too, dude. Put some respect in them. They just die a lot more. I think the secretly, that's the really impressive part. That they're getting so many kills and assists while not dying. Because plenty of teams are around that in turn, like 4-3-3, but they're also just making plays happen across the map. It's crazy. Does this have? No, I need the next one. Is it tempo report? Golden Guardians. Slow AF. Whoa, EG, you're slow. TL, you're fast. Holy fuck. 28 minutes. How do I merge these again? I did it before. There we go. You need to divide that by 2. 104. 104 is 64 divided by 2. 32-minute average game time. It's not so bad. Combined kills per minute's low though, 6.3. This is no, 15 games is right. All right. I think I would do C9 Immortals. It's just one game difference, and like this one was a massive throw that they caught, and they have a much worse early game. And they just make mistakes all over the place. I think that's what my team power rankings would be. If I was totally blind, this is my... I've never heard of any of these players before. I've never watched this league. I don't know anything about these organizations. That is how it would go. TL, CLG, EG, Fly, 100 Thieves, TSM, Golden Guardians, C9, IMT, Dignitas.